And Iran's new supreme leader issued his first written statement today. He threatened that attacks on America and also its allies in the Middle East will continue. Erica Brown has the latest for us live from Capitol Hill tonight. Erica, good evening.
Good evening, Christine. And that's right. We're hearing from Iran's new supreme leader for the first time in that purported statement where he refuses to back down despite warnings from the United States over threats to that key waterway where part of the world's oil supply travels through. And now Iran is vowing to keep that passageway blocked until the war is over.
Iran's state-run TV read a message Thursday attributed to its new supreme leader, Ayatollah Mujtaba Khamenei, who defiantly vowed to continue to block the Strait of Hormuz and target other Gulf nations supporting the United States. Iranian missiles continue to target oil tankers in the strait, which is a key waterway for the global export of crude oil.
Those countries who have joined the aggression should not benefit from safe passage through the Strait of Hormuz.
Iranian drones have also damaged oil facilities of U.S. allies in the region, like Bahrain.
The Iranian regime is trying to create chaos to back us off and keep them in power. The single worst thing we could do is leave this regime in power.
Some lawmakers continue to raise concerns about Operation Epic Fury and the bombing of an Iranian girls' school. Sources tell CBS News a preliminary assessment suggests the U.S. was likely responsible.
Can you guess how we could have gotten this wrong in Iran and targeted a children's school?
Ma'am, I would hesitate to speculate with any incident like this. There's, I would just say there's usually a chain of errors and mistakes that happen similar to an aviation accident or some other transportation accident. And I would say we just need to let the investigation play out and find all those factors.
Sources say the strike was possibly due to dated intelligence that wrongly identified the school as part of an Iranian military installation.
Now, the U.S. military says today that it has struck more than 6,000 targets inside Iran since the conflict began, with more than 90 Iranian vessels either damaged or destroyed. Christine?
Erica Brown, thank you. Also, Iranian-backed hackers are targeting sites in the U.S., raising the risk of cyber attacks during the war. Jennifer Bisram takes a look now at what's being done to protect critical infrastructure and also how to keep your personal information safe.
There's critical infrastructure that's using older technologies that are less secure and less isolated from attacks.
A cyber attack claimed by Iranian hackers that caused a global network disruption to Stryker, a major U.S. medical device maker here in the U.S., appears to be one of the first notable hacks against U.S. infrastructure since the U.S. and Israel began bombing Iran last month.
This more than likely was probably something like a credential that was compromised. A user had a password that was leaked, and they essentially did a remote wipe on thousands of devices.
Steve Cobb is the Chief Information Security Officer of Security Scoreboard. The company scans everything online, including the dark web and Telegram channels for cyber intelligence. He says his team has seen an increase in intensity of things coming from Iran.
The U.S. continues to wage the kinetic warfare that's destroying, physical apparatus in Iran. They still have a cyber attack group that's very competent, and you're going to see them target companies across the U.S. in retaliation. These Iranian-based groups are looking harder and deeper than what they have in the past, and companies should be prepared for that.
A spokesperson from the mayor's office tells us protecting New Yorkers from physical and cyber threats is a top priority for the Mamdani administration. CBS News contributor Chris Krebs.
Every organization today, right now, yesterday even, needs to be running a full hands-on deck rehearsal of what happens if they have a similar event. Make sure the bad guys cannot easily get in and move throughout the entirety of an organization across the enterprise. This is a 5-alarm fire, I think.
Jennifer Bisram, CBS News, New York.
And the war continues to drive up gas prices. Crude oil is back up to $100 per barrel. Gas prices in New York, New Jersey, and Connecticut all up from the previous week. According to AAA, the average regular gallon costs $3.50 in all 3 states. The war also sent stocks sinking worldwide. The Dow fell about 740 points, the S&P dropped 103, and the Nasdaq sank 404 points. For the latest developments in the war with Iran, go to CBS New York or download the CBS News app.